Hi, welcome to the show, which is called
Sunday Chat.
Indeed it is, and if it's looking a little bit dim, it's because it's so bloody dark this morning. We've been hit by torrential downpours. I've already had to go out and fix gutter.
So manly,
manly. I just tapped it with a hoe. No, we've got like a downpipe which sort of goes across the roof, the flat roof, and into a gutter. And it was just because I fixed it, if you remember, and it was just over too far, and the water was pouring out. I said to Paul, "We've got a situation." He said, "Yeah, I know."
I didn't know.
You didn't say anything.
Well, I didn't say anything because I didn't want to upset your Saturday.
Well, I just tapped it with a hoe back into place and it's all sorted now. So, Richard saved the day.
It's amazing what you can do with a long tool.
With a hoe. Ho, ho, ho. So, yes, we've not had any thunderstorms, but it is feeling rather sultry this morning, to be honest. Quite humid and a little bit sticky.
It is. I was having a shave before, and it was, when your skin's a bit damp and you're shaving, it's not very nice. No, it's not easy. Yeah. First world problems. All of that.
Yeah, hot and sultry.
Hot and sweaty. Oh, you were going on this morning, but he was going on about the bedroom.
Well,
it's so hot, the bedroom's so hot. And then he opened all the windows and he put a fan on. I had to cover myself up with the duvet. It was so cold.
Very warm in there this morning. I hadn't had the bottom...
Not to me.
I hadn't had the bottom sash windows open because I was afraid it might rain into the bedroom.
Yeah, we didn't want that.
No, Paul. So I was being sensible.
I know, but I just didn't
but more on
find
that
it
later.
Very warm anyway.
More on that later with Richard and Paul's weather report. Shush now, Paul.
It's like
you're out of control.
Dastardly and Muttley. Yeah. Do you remember them? I used to love Dastardly and Muttley.
Wacky Races.
Yeah, Wacky Races. Yeah. I loved Muttley. Yeah.
I can't do a Muttley.
Yeah.
No, we used to go...
That sounds like a sort of Scream horror movie thing.
No, we used to laugh. It was sort of like a wheezy laugh,
like,
wasn't it?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I can't do that.
I think mine was even better.
Oh dear.
So anyway, welcome to our channel. Willkommen,
Richard
bienvenue
et Paul.
à la Chanel de Richard et Paul.
Yeah, there we are. Yeah.
And welcome to old subscribers who've been here for a long time. And any new subscribers who've just joined us who are really probably wondering what the hell is going on.
Yeah,
welcome. That's how we rock and roll. That's Sunday Chat.
Sunday Chat! There we are.
Also, welcome to new members on Planet Vegetarian. That's a Facebook group by Richard and Paul. Richard and Paul since 2017. That's contractual. Welcome.
Gosh,
thank you. I know, it's a long time.
It's 8 years.
It'll nearly be, just imagine, very soon it'll be 10 years.
Oh.
Yeah, 10 years of Richard and Paul on YouTube.
I'm a year away from being a septuagenarian as well, aren't I?
A what?
Oh no, that's 70, isn't it? What's a 60-genarian?
Sexagenarian. Sexagenarian.
Oh, 59. So it's just sort of like, it's amazing. Sometimes you just suddenly realise what one's age is.
Old you really are.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, people just need to look at you and they can guess quite easily, whereas things are a little bit more difficult with me being 42.
I thought you were 39. You suddenly aged 3 years.
I'm
dearie
42
me.
now.
It's all that
think it's
he's
time.
aged 3 years by rolling his short trousers up a little on the beach at Swanage last week, and you've suddenly aged 3 years.
I mean, I don't want to be sun damaged. Thank you very much.
That's fair enough.
I mean, this is like an advert for sun damage
But it
with
certainly is.
sunscreen,
Yeah.
without.
Well, I do wear sunscreen, but I also tan very, very quickly. And sometimes I forget the sunscreen. I didn't yesterday.
I think that tiny little amount of sunscreen that you're putting on, Paul, isn't doing much.
Yeah, I think we need to buy it by the sort of 5 kilo load, really.
We've got coffee.
We do have coffee.
Yeah.
Haven't even had any coffee yet either.
No, best start drinking it before it goes cold. Actually, not much chance of that in this house today. It's beautifully warm with the windows closed. Because there was noise outside. Children. Feral children roaming the streets now. The schools have broken up.
Okay, Kenneth, okay.
Things to look forward to. Although, in positive news, the building works, the external building works, has now finished. But we were given the joy of more work occurring over the road. And then more work occurring at the back as well.
Yeah.
That was lovely. The drilling was just unforgettable.
Yeah, honestly.
So, weather. Richard and Paul's weather report. I'm pleased to report that the heat wave is now over. What's it been like down on the plot this week, Paul, weather-wise?
Well, yeah, it's been sticky, it's been humid, but with the temperature a little bit lower, things have been easier. I was looking actually at the temperatures overnight where Vivi is in Swanage compared to here, and it's quite interesting that where her temperatures are generally lower during the day, they've generally been higher at night of late than us. So the disparity between the high and the low of the day is much less than the disparity in London, which is really odd. So I've been looking, and where we've had a temperature, we've been swinging from 24 degrees down to 13 or 14. Vivi's been sort of like 20, 21, swinging down to 15 or 16. And I do think that helps the growth of plants. I've never really thought about it before, but I just thought I'd look at the overnight temperatures and see what they're like. It's interesting.
What helps? The lower temperatures at night?
No, having a big disparity between daytime high and daytime low. I think the plants get a little bit weakened by that. I think when it's more, when you look at, the equator where the temperature is obviously sort of pretty stable and pretty high, things just grow and grow and grow there. And I think the greater disparity, possibly the more plants need to struggle to grow.
Oh, well, thank you for that, Paul.
I don't, totally unscientific, of course, just in my little brain.
So, as we've said, there's been a thunderstorm warning out for apocalyptic storms all over the southeast. We haven't seen any of them, because if we had, I'd have filmed it.
You
and
would.
I'm quite disappointed because it feels like, I can't go on, it feels like it should thunder, because it is. You can probably see we're both a bit...
You're glowing.
Glowing.
You're glowing.
Well, I've just had that coffee as well. Woohoo! Let that kick in. It feels as though we need a storm to clear the air. I can almost sense the electricity in the air. But it's not had chance to discharge
Yes.
yet.
Yeah.
Will it discharge? Who knows?
You never know, it might during this show. Yeah.
Well, wouldn't that be superb if it did? Well, we'll see. And of course, the temperature is due to sort of fluctuate now.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Lower, higher, lower.
Yeah.
So back to sort of normal, good summer conditions.
What they were saying, I think it was maybe the week before last, is that in the UK we need to these sort of sudden sort of heat waves, short-lived heat waves, and then dropping back down, that we need to expect to be the new norm, rather than the temperatures that we were having, or the weather patterns we were having several decades ago. These heat waves are something we just need to accept now, because that's what climate change has done.
Yeah. Hey ho. In the news this week, Paul, you read an article about plastic-eating fungi from Ecuador.
Yeah. So there was some fungi found quite a few years ago in Ecuador, and they've been testing it on plastics. And there's one of the most common plastics, the softer plastics. This fungus actually eats the plastic and grows healthily as fungus, which of course in many ways is great news, but also we're trying to find the solution to a problem that could actually be greatly reduced by making sure that we're not creating that plastic in the first place. You know, I mean, I go back to the 80s, maybe it was even late 70s. Do you remember when there used to be starch bags? We used to go to the supermarket, and there was a big push on supermarket carrier bags being made out of potato starch.
I don't think that was the 70s and 80s. I think that was later.
No, it was definitely in my time as a kid, or whether it was Guernsey and Jersey. The Channel Islands were a testing ground for quite a few things.
I don't think we had them here.
Well, we definitely had them in Guernsey. I remember Bessant's had them, which was the sort of big supermarket in Guernsey, and it was a big thing, and they would compost. We would literally put them into our compost bins in our gardens, and they would compost down. They were sort of a bit like the bags that you get with for your food waste. You know, you
but
put
they don't
food waste
hold
in.
up, do they? If you're carrying shopping in the rain.
Well, no, they did. This is
Really?
the thing. The ones we had in Guernsey did.
Oh well.
So.
Oh well.
And we know that there are other types of technology that actually work. You know, Two Farmers Crisps, which is a really tasty, fantastic crisp brand. Those crisp packets are made from the byproducts of making the crisps. They're made out of potato starch, and they compost in compost bins. You know, so those things are there.
The question is, why aren't people doing it? And it's probably because the
Profit.
plastics industry employs a heck of a lot of people and makes a heck of a lot of money.
I think
It's like anything, isn't it? It's like the guy that invented the water engine.
Yeah.
He disappeared, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't think it's the former. I don't think it's the fact that it employs a lot of people. I think it's the fact it makes a lot of money. You know, we're back to the thing where corporations are just financially bleeding people, the general populace of money being siphoned up to the top. Yeah, there we are.
In other news this week, we've got a television show in this country called MasterChef.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a little bit of controversy. It's interesting. I'm not going to mention the names of the people because I don't want any, libelous injunctions being thrown at us. But I remember years ago we used to watch MasterChef when it was Lloyd Grossman. And it was all done in the studio. There were 3 contestants at a time.
MasterChef used to be fab.
It was great. And the judges would wander around and look at what they were doing, and it would all be judged.
And they'd have different weekly celebrity judges coming on as well. That was really great.
It was really such a good show. Then it kind of changed.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether you remember, Paul, but we had a discussion at the time when these new presenters took over. And I remember us saying, there's something about them I don't like. And we kind of switched off because we didn't like the presenters. There was a, I don't know. You know when a child says, "Mummy, I don't like that man," it's kind of like this instinctive feeling that we just didn't like them. There was something about them that didn't feel right. And, of course, both of them turning out to be not particularly
So, yeah.
nice people.
Both of them, well, allegedly,
Allegedly.
both are now no longer with the programme, and really I think the programme has sort of done its time. I mean, you know,
They need to
really recreate it
Yeah.
if it's going to have any chance of living. And what I really find frustrating is the fact that all of these things are now, you know, the presenters are actually much bigger than the contestants, and I sort of, you know, I don't really understand that, but...
Well, I just think also the BBC is failing repeatedly to get its act together
Yeah.
in dealing with these things when they first occur. They seem to sit on them because they know that they are selling the programme
Cash
to
cows.
other networks. There's a whole industry at the BBC. The BBC likes to say it's non-commercial, but it has a huge commercial arm. And actually the BBC as an organisation, it's always been this way, is split up into different companies. So you've got now BBC Studios, which is just the studio arm of the operation. You used to have BBC Worldwide. I worked for BBC Technology. So there's all these different companies that actually, apart from the programme releasing part of the BBC, they all have to compete with each other and make money from each other. There's a big internal market at the BBC. And a lot of people don't realise that. I had to sell training courses to other departments to make money for BBC Technology. So, you know...
But I think the big thing is that, you know, corporations, they tend to get too big and they tend to get set in their ways. And unfortunately, what happens is things tend to get sort of swept under the carpet and sort of forgotten about, or actually if we try and sweep this here, then we'll forget about it. But
It's
you
a
know,
big headache.
it then comes back and bites you.
Things like that are a big headache for corporations like the BBC. They don't like it. But hey, the other thing I saw in the news, Paul, and we experienced this the other day when we were down in Swanage, wasps
Yes.
are on the increase this summer. It's a good summer for them. When we went down to see Vivi, we went to Corfe Castle. If you've not seen that, you can look at my vlog. Lots of lovely footage. We went to Corfe and then we went into the
tea room.
Tea room, yeah, the tea garden.
Tea gardens.
To have afternoon tea. And that was lovely. It was beautiful, lovely garden. We got our tea. I had scones with jam and cream. Cream tea.
I had a savoury cream tea.
You had a savoury one. Vivi had a little quiche, didn't
quiche,
she?
Quiche, yeah.
And as soon as I opened the jam, the wasps started attacking. So
they started fluttering around.
They were attacking me, Paul.
No, I think I know what a wasp attack is.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Paul,
yes,
Paul,
yes,
the
I
wasp
know.
attack. If you've not seen that video, have a look. Poor Paul. Did you get stung, Paul?
I did get stung several times. Because, of course, the thing about a wasp is it is able to sting you several times, where a bee, sadly, if a bee stings you, most of them lose their sting and they die. So, yeah. Anyway, yes,
Well,
wasps. So the wasps were fluttering around his jam. So we decided to go inside.
We went inside, and then one of them followed me inside.
Because in Richard's flapping outside, he'd got a little bit of jam on his bag. And the wasp followed us in for the jam on the bag.
But it wasn't funny, Paul.
I thought it was.
God, it's even darker now.
To be fair, there were signs in the garden that there were quite a few wasps around.
I didn't see any of
which
those
Richard
signs.
decided not to read. And when Vivi and I ordered, because we went in to order, they did say, just watch out, there are quite a lot of wasps in the garden. So they might come out after the sort of onion marmalade and the jams and things. But we thought we'd be okay. But no, we
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 weren't.
sensibly moved inside. But then there's the news this week that wasps are on the increase. Particularly, I mean, I think there's 900 species of wasp or something in the UK, and
900?
most of them are solitary wasps. The one that we see most often is the most prolific and is the common wasp, and that does build hives. And when I was down at the Great Green Barn this week, we had to cordon off an area of the gardens so that, because there was an event there, because the wasps were actually nesting in the ground by an apple tree. So we made sure that that area was not disturbed.
Well, they're saying, you know, if you're going on a picnic, put a little pot of jam or something away from you, and they'll go over to that.
Well, I think some of them will, but I mean, you know, the wasps aren't going to go, oh look, there's a whole cream tea here, but a little pot of jam over there, we'll go to that little pot of jam.
Well, they might.
Well, some of them might, but I don't think most of them will. So,
Well,
yeah.
apparently you can put a bag with water in it as well, and some pennies.
Well, yeah, there is that thing that's supposed to,
Apparently.
with the compact eyes, you know, where they've
Compact
got, what have they
eyes.
got? They got
Compound.
compound eyes. That's it, compound eyes. Apparently, these sort of pennies in bags of water does seem to deflect their vision somehow.
So why didn't the tea room at Corfe Castle decide to employ that method?
Because I think it's a load of rubbish.
You heard it here.
But the other thing is that there are also more butterflies this year as well.
There are a lot of white ones.
There are a lot of large whites this year, and also there are quite a few bumblebees this year. If you watch my week at the plots, you'll see that back in sort of March, April, when it was warming up, I was in the orchard at the allotment, and I was showing how quite a few bumblebees, you had to watch where you were treading, because very often they're in leaves or they're in burrows in the ground, and they were coming out because the sun was out and it was getting warmer, and they were beginning to come out of hibernation. So, yeah. Are you okay? Are you having a hot flush?
Mammy, tear down the curtains and make me a dress.
Oh,
I
dearie
feel
me.
like I'm in the deep south.
I still think honeybees are down, certainly on my plot and the top area of the allotments. There seem to be fewer honeybees around this year, but
The
there
other
we are.
thing, talking about nice, cool things, the other interesting story I saw in the news was about the ice cores that had been
Oh, right.
taken to a Cambridge laboratory. These are 1.5 million years old, these ice cores, and they're going to be defrosting them and seeing what's in them.
well, yeah.
I hope there's not a pandemic in those ice cores.
Absolutely. I mean, it is incredible, isn't it? That, of course, you know, water is you know, there's air in there because there's oxygen in there, and that air that then gets released when it melts, that hasn't been breathed for so many millennia.
I think it's incredible. I mean, they do it all, I assume, in a closed environment.
Well, one would assume so.
But interesting, very interesting.
We did watch a
How
programme a
lovely.
few weeks ago where
Did
they
we?
were taking core samples, didn't we? That was absolutely fascinating. It was a big, it was like a drilling rig, like an oil drilling rig, and they were drilling down and taking the core samples out.
How lovely.
Fascinating, yeah.
So, Paul, you went down to the Great Green Barn this week.
I
didn't you?
did. We had a quite a major event there.
Sticking
it was
to the paper.
It was a hire of the Great Green Barn for a celebratory wake, and it's sort of come at an interesting time because we were down with Vivi for a few days last
It's raining
week.
again.
Vanessa is on jury duty, has been on jury duty from the beginning of this week, and we have the first sort of major hire of the barn for an event in the midst of all of this. But I have to say, I mean, before I went away on the break, Vanessa and I had a really good chat about what was needed and, you know, food and all that type of thing. and that was all organised well by her. And then I picked up on things on Monday when I got back. There was also ordering to do. The usual things for our sake shop needed to be done. We needed to order special things for the wake as well, because there was going to be quite a lot of food at the wake, and there was quite a lot of zero alcohol drinks at the wake, as well as our own wines and things that we have. And I have to say, we had the right number of staffing. The event went really, really well. The people who'd hired the barn were really pleased with the event. They thought it went really well, but it was extremely tiring. It really was. But it was great.
Good.
It was great.
And you came home to a lovely, lovely dish made by me.
I did.
From courgettes.
I did, and he was upstairs editing it and editing the video, and I came in, and then you came downstairs, and I was sort of, winding down and putting things away from my bag, and you said, oh, there's a courgette layer bake, so if you want to eat, there's this, it might need heating up. And then I said thanks. You went back upstairs to edit, and I put it into a bowl. I decided not to heat it up because I thought it was quite a nice temperature, because it'd been quite a warm day, and I didn't want the fuss.
Well, it had just been cooked.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was, and then I started it, and I thought, oh God, this is absolutely divine. This is absolutely divine. This isn't just really, really tasty and really, really luscious. It's divine. And I thought, God, but Richard has really sort of pushed the boat out with this dish, because there's loads of cheese in here, and it feels really creamy. It's obviously a sort of a high fat dish.
A bit of a treat.
Bit of a treat. No
cheese.
No cheese. I am amazed there was no cheese in that. You've done lots of other dishes with yeast flakes before. The Welsh rarebit with the yeast flakes is fantastic, really yummy. So many other things you have done, but I have to say this one just was fantastic.
And what I've done, I'm sticking to everything. It's so sticky.
Oh, I feel fine.
No, but you haven't got paper nearby. Literally, look, stick. It's disgusting. And it's chucking it down again. I've done a playlist for courgettes. Listen. You can hear the rain hitting the chimney. How cosy. Yeah, have a look at the playlist. Have a look at the playlist for all courgette-related recipes for your gluts.
But yeah, I would definitely do this one. And also, what I took out of the freezer yesterday, we're going to have it for lunch today. I have made Vivi's courgette, potato and cheddar soup several times. Well, loads of times actually. It's a staple for us now. But last time I made it, I didn't have so many carrots, so I used courgette instead. And I have to say, the courgette and lentil soup is just delicious as well, isn't it?
I'm confused. You just talked about 3 different recipes there.
There's the courgette, potato and cheddar soup of
Where
Vivi's.
do the carrots come in?
Well, my carrot and lentil soup. Sorry, I amended my carrot and lentil soup because I only had a few carrots to a lentil and courgette soup with just a couple of carrots.
Yeah.
And it is delicious. Divine.
Lovely, Paul. Yeah. Thank you for that clarity.
Just getting all excited about soup for lunch.
It's time for Word of the Week. So this is taken from A Word for Every Day of the Year by Stephen Poole, gifted to me by Vivi Gregory of What Vivi Did Next and Vivi's Cottage by the Sea. Oh, hold on, that's... Is that the right date?
20th. 20th. You might go for the other one.
I'm going for the other one. Okay, the word is Variation. Variation. F for Freddy, E-R-I-A-T-I-O-N.
Sorry, say that again. F-E...
F-E-R-I-A-T-I-O-N.
It feels as though it should be like the hardening of arteries, you know, like you get...
no, it's not.
Iron.
So
ferrous,
shush now.
ferrous, basically.
When in Homer's Iliad, Achilles approaches Troy to fight Hector, we learn that Sirius, also known as the Dog Star, has returned with all its evil portent. So commence what we now call the Dog Days of Summer, which began, according to one modern scholar's astronomical calculations, on this very day. Whoa!
It's got really heavy now outside.
On this very day during the Trojan War itself. The oppressive heat of the season in the northern hemisphere has historically been associated with lassitude, and in modern times, even trading on Wall Street still quietens down. For those people lucky enough to wind down their labours or actually take a vacation, this is a traditional period of variation.
I still don't understand what it is.
Winding down.
Oh, winding down. Oh,
during the warmer times.
Right, okay.
Well, isn't that appropriate?
Yeah, it is appropriate.
Yeah, I could
well,
do
it
with
is
a bit of
appropriate because
winding down.
it's the day, isn't it? It's appropriate to the day. So
It's absolutely chucking it down now.
I don't know. The Iliad is a book that I really struggle to read. The Odyssey is just a fantastic, rip-roaring story. It's great. Both are sort of were handed down before being written. They were handed down through generations as oral tellings, you know, storytelling, and it's just glorious. The Odyssey, the Iliad is all so and so, son of such and such, brother of so and so, son of this, daughter of that, blah 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 blah, and it goes on for paragraphs. So they introduce a new character, and then there's like 3 paragraphs of all of their relations. And yeah, the Iliad at school was not one of my favourite books. The Odyssey was. Love the Odyssey. And in fact, there was a bit of the Odyssey came up in something that we were watching on TV recently. Very recently, in fact.
Well, there's a bit in the Bible, isn't there, where there's a whole section, such and such begat this and begat that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it goes on forever. It's like, already?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but let's just remember that all of the Bible was, you know, written well after.
Well, it's just a book like anything else.
It's a book, but it was written well after Odysseus
it's just
and all of that.
a story. I quite like the Bible stories. I had a lovely book of Bible stories
with pictures,
photographs,
with photos,
with
photographs of Jesus on the cross,
of Moses and the Red Sea. Pictures. I love that.
I love those
stories.
I love those illustrations, which are sort of really sort of colourful and sort of quite rich, but quite sort of dark as well in the colours. Because of course darker coloured dyes were more expensive because they.
But Jesus was usually white.
He was white. Yeah. Well, he wasn't white, of course. He would have. He would have been.
In the pictures, he was always a white man.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
But he wouldn't have been white. His clothes would have been white, but not the rest of him.
Let's move on now.
Shade of something.
Let's move on now to the television section. What have we watched on television this week, Paul?
Well, we've watched quite a few things, quite a few different things. Some the same as usual. So we restarted Murder, She Wrote during our sort of lunches and things. So we're enjoying that.
Lovely.
We're also carrying on watching The Good Life, which is being repeated on, I think, BBC 4.
Yeah.
And I think it's sort of gone a bit sort of further into itself. I think these later episodes are actually
the better ones.
And Tom is bit less annoying, like a little bit less annoying.
We watched a really good programme on the Hollies.
Yes.
I don't know whether you're familiar with the Hollies, but a band that became famous in the 60s.
From Manchester, weren't they?
Certainly from the northwest of England. And, of course, one of them went on to
Crosby, Stills and
Crosby,
Nash.
Stills and Nash, which was quite famous in the States. But the Hollies, I grew up with the Hollies music, as did you. And it was a really interesting, I think it's quite an old programme.
I think it was 2011, so 14 years old, something like that.
But it was really interesting, it had lots of old footage, played lots of the songs. So that was a sort of nostalgia blast.
Interviews
and
with
lots of
band
good interviews,
members.
and their story basically.
Yeah.
We watched The Sky at Night again. There are some format issues that they need to take care of. Bloody BBC.
I think the format issues they need to take care of is getting The Sky at Night back to being a decent educational programme, because I feel it's really,
I don't know, down,
it's
isn't
dumb. It? Yeah, it really is dumbed down. You know, it's, I don't know, it was a terrible episode. I can't even tell you what it was about, because it started in a ridiculous way, continued in a ridiculous way, and I read my book. So
my favourite programme this week was Dinosaurs, Myths and Monsters on BBC 4. This was a really interesting programme that talked about ancient people discovering dinosaur bones and how that influenced culture. And of course, we don't seem to think that the ancient people would have uncovered dinosaur bones, because the sort of official line is dinosaurs were discovered in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Dinosaur fossilised bones.
Yeah, 1700s and 1800s.
Which isn't actually true. Ancient people have been uncovering large fossilised bones for many, many centuries. And this programme seeks to join up the cultural stories of large creatures, giants and dragons with the ancient discoveries of large fossilised bones. So it was a really fascinating perspective, and it's one that you don't necessarily think of, you know? And then it sort of came towards the more modern era of paleontology, where of course it was assumed that these creatures were huge lizards, and of course the phrase dinosaurs, which means terrible lizard, was coined. So a really good one to watch, really interesting and well presented.
And it goes back to Native American history as well, where they talk about Thunderbirds in their stories and in their own myths and tales, and how those Thunderbirds were effectively skeletons that were found, and they thought these must be huge flying creatures. So in the past they must have been there and maybe vanquished or not, but basically they were held in great esteem, and they were thought to be, living creatures, these huge Thunderbirds.
And also the legends of giants, some of the bones that were found that were dinosaur bones, or maybe just a small portion of bone, were compared to human bones, and it was assumed that these large bones would have belonged to giants.
Yeah.
So fascinating programme. If you're able to watch it, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Really good watch.
And going back to Homer's The Odyssey, when Odysseus goes out to do his travels, he comes across a one-eyed beast, and what they were saying is that this one-eyed beast was most probably created from seeing an elephant skull, from the skull of an elephant, because if you look at an elephant skull, it's got, you know, a hole in where the trunk would be, you know, when the elephant was alive, but there's a big hole, and how when you look at this skull you could quite easily think that it's a one-eyed giant.
An eye socket.
Yeah, an eye socket, and you know, that was fascinating. I love how these things sort of pull in, you know, the facts of what actually is there, and how our minds have created other myths and legends. It's just wonderful.
I've always said about things like, you know, elves and fairies. I mean, you know, could those legends have been thought up because somebody saw an exotic insect or moth and assumed it to be some kind of other paranormal supernatural creature? You never know. I mean, look at people's eyesight. I could mistake all sorts of things for different creatures.
You definitely could, yeah.
Quite easily, because I can barely see without my glasses on. So, you know, yeah, it's an interesting area. I love all of that.
With sort of like elves and giants and, you know, tall people, they're very often in a small community, something that was a bit out of being normal would either be heralded as amazing, or it would be seen to be something that shouldn't be and would be ostracised. And you can sort of, if there was a really tall person in a village and they were ostracised, and this person then is wandering the countryside, going to other areas with other people, you can see how tales could come about a visiting tall person. Yeah.
Or indeed somebody visiting Guernsey might have thought that the whole population were small, round hobbit people. So that's it for this week's Sunday Chat.
Sunday Chat!
Thank you for tuning in yet again and spending your precious time with us.
Thank you.
We're very grateful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's time to say goodbye now.
Is it time to say goodbye?
Time to say goodbye.
Are we going to say goodbye?
We're saying goodbye now.
Are we saying are there people asleep at the back?
You can go now.
I think there are a couple asleep there. Yeah.
Take care. Hope you enjoyed it.
See you next week.
Come again.
Bye.
Watch all the adverts.
Bye.
Watch them all the way through, but not the 20-minute ones.
And if you haven't watched them, go back to the beginning, watch the whole thing again with the adverts.
Again, enjoy it again.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you. Come again. Watch everything else. Go back through the playlists.
Bananas.
Tits and bums.